everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. Now it's Thursday night, and every other Thursday night I jump on and do a mystery challenge. And I post the clue for the mystery challenge around 9:15 in the morning so that you can play along. And today it's a color challenge. So I'm using Calypso Coral, Soft Succulent, and Daffodil Delight. And so as I started to figure out what I was going to do tonight with these colors, I'm kind of sorry I threw in the Daffodil Delight. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. Definitely know what I'm going to do with the Calypso Coral and the Soft Succulent. So I'm going to have to be a little creative, I think, with the Daffodil Delight because it's just not quite going with me. I can't quite figure it out. So we'll figure that out as we go along. So, all right, I am using Two-Tone Flora, which is just such a pretty sweet, I think it's called, I can't remember what the collection's called in the catalog, but the bundle is called Two-Tone Flora, and it is two-step stamping, and it's flowers. There are no sentiments in this bundle, but it's got a beautiful background die that I absolutely love. So let's switch over and you can help me maybe hopefully choose what to do with the Daffodil Delight as we work through this. All right, so let's see. There we go. Maybe that's a little straighter. All right, here's the mystery. So again, Calypso Coral, Soft Succulent, which goes so lovely. Actually, I think this all goes well together. It's just that what I've chosen to do, I'm not so sure how the Daffodil Delight is going to fit in. But anyway, we'll make the best of it. So hopefully you figured out what you're going to do with these colors and you'll share them in my Facebook group because I love to see what you're creating. And if you're not sure where my Facebook group is, the link is underneath my video. So feel free to join. Also, if you're coming in through YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you get notified when I go live. All right. So here is the Two-Tone Flora. So it's really pretty. Two-step stamping. Now these images are 90%, so their images are bigger than what they appear. And so you've got the two different stamps for each of the sizes of the flowers, some nice stems, leaves, and then some smaller pieces as well. And then the dies, I can get them out of this package. It's a little tight. All right, so you've got the dies that will, of course, cut out the different flowers and the stem and the leaves, and then this amazing, which I really should clean out, background stamp or die that cuts out just an amazing background. And I'm going to cut that out of Designer Series paper. Okay, so here's my supplies. I've got a piece of Soft Succulent that is cut 4 1/4 by 11. It's kind of standard card base. If you want to make it portrait, a booklet fold, you would cut it 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, but I'm going to make mine 10th fold. So I'm scoring this at 5 1/2. If you've cut yours 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, then you're going to score it at 4 1/4. And as always, hey Deborah, welcome. As always, you're going to fold into the mountain or the raised line and give it a good crease with your bone folder. Okay, so I've got a piece of Calypso Coral that I cut 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So it's just going to be a peekaboo. Actually, it's going to be more than a peekaboo because I am cutting out this amazing, this is the Designer Series paper, and I'm going to cut this, kind of seems a shame to do that, but I am going to cut it out of this using this background stamp. So I've actually cut this to be, I think, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and you really do need that. In fact, I probably should have cut it a little bit longer because this is just barely long enough. So we're going to run this through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which I will bring over. You do need the large one. This won't fit in the mini. So let's see if I can get this kind of lined up. Maybe I'll do it this way so I can actually see how it's lined up. I probably should have cut it just a touch longer. There we go. Oopsie. Okay, there we go. So we're going to run this through. I've got it upside down. Welcome, Inga. Hello. Oh, gee. See. I'm still struggling with my arm. I was so excited. I went to the doctor yesterday. I was so excited when he said I could just wear a brace, and he wanted me out of the splint. I got excited too quickly because he took an x-ray, and I have to be in the splint for another probably 2 to 3 weeks, till the end of January at least. So, okay, shouldn't have got so excited. All right, so I'm going to pull this out gently because it is a very detailed die, and you get all sorts of bits. If you run this through a couple of times, it comes out. It cuts really nicely, but if you run it through a couple of times, it comes out even easier. And I really do have to clean that die. Now, if I had cut this a little bit longer, and I'm going to have to trim it because I realized I've got it too wide. What's going on here? I need to poke out. There's still some bits in here that didn't come out. If I cut it longer, it wouldn't have. It would have had kind of more of a border around the bottom, but that's okay. I will just make sure that I have got it glued. Still trying to get some of the bits out. Okay, I think that's the bits. There we go. Now I do have to trim this. So I want this to be 4 inches. So I'm just going to take and trim. Oops, not with that. That's the scoring tool. Trim kind of 1/8 of an inch off that side. Oops. And I have to trim a little bit more off. All right, so I want this to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. So I'm just kind of, there we go. I think that'll fit. Okay, so this is going to go on like this. That's pretty too, isn't it? No, I think I saw some bits that hadn't poke out. I'm kind of changing my mind here, because if I do it this side, then I can I'll put some, the card base is soft succulent. That will go on there. That, and then I just have to figure out how to incorporate the Daffodil Delight. Okay, so let's do that. Completely changing up my idea here, but that's okay. It's a shame to cover this designer series paper, but I have other pieces of this particular one. It's so pretty. I'm just putting little bits of glue. I've got my silicone mat. Still got, again, run it through a couple of times. I probably should have done that. And then these bits come off much easier. So I'm just trying to get just a little bit of glue. You can also use adhesive sheets, and that will work really well to hold this in place. And just, you pick it off and then you can just glue it right down. And I never think of that until actually I've cut it out and then it's too late. All right, let's go like that. Oops. Got a little glue on my fingers, so it's kind of stuck. There we go. So gently just kind of putting that in place. And again, there we go. Okay, I'm not going to glue that down because I think I'm going to put some ribbon. So let's do some stamping, which is my piece for the inside. That's my inside of my card. Okay, so I think now that I've used that piece of designer, that side of the designer series paper, I can get away with using some Daffodil Delight. So we'll see how this goes. Oops, there's some blocks. So I'm going to use a couple of different sizes of flowers. So there are the two tones, so there's the two pieces and they match up so that you've got the kind of background piece, and then you've got the more detailed, make noise, there we go, the more detailed piece. And I want the stems, and there's even a smaller, let's do this one. Oh, this one. Getting my flowers to match up. So I'm doing 3 different sizes of flowers, just kind of going to make a cluster of flowers, and then we'll see how it goes. All right, I'm going to stamp a bit of a combination. So this is the one. So I don't want the Daffodil Delight to be really strong, so I'm going to stamp off. So that's the one, and then we'll do Calypso Coral. So you just have to kind of just move your stamp around until you get it to more or less fit like that. And then let's do, I'm probably going to have to stick to this color combination, because I think if I try to do the opposite to this, it's going to be, you won't see the detail. Hey. Yeah, that's true. That's true. If I had changed my mind like I did, I would have been out of luck on using adhesive sheets. So you're right. I'm not sure who said that, not coming in from Facebook, but yes, I would have been out of luck for that. But I kind of like this color combination, like that. And then I'm going to use, let's see, soft for some stems. Okay, and then I've got a piece here. I've grabbed the Regency, no, it's the Sentimental Park. This is becoming my new favorite. Hey, Lynette, welcome. Yeah, I can't see that it's you from Facebook. So this is becoming my new favorite stamp set for all of these different sentiments. So I do a lot of thank you cards, so I'm going to use the thanks stamp because I have been doing a lot of that. And I think I'm going to stamp it in Soft Succulent. I'm just going to stamp it that way because I'm going to fussy cut that out. Surprise, surprise, I'm fussy cutting. All right. Close my ink pads. And then let's grab the dies. I'm going to have to run it through. So that will go on there. And that will go there. And not like that. Okay, maybe that goes. Oh, I must have a. Okay. All right, I got 2 of that size, one size flower, but that's okay. They're slightly different. So when you've got dies that kind of, fit in a certain way, just kind of move them around until you've found how they fit. And then I use Post-it note tape. You can use washi tape, you can use Post-it notes, but I just like Post-it note tape because I can kind of pull it off. And we'll put that there. I'm going to have to run it through again. And that one on like that. So I'm just going to run this through rather than bring my machine back. Okay, so we got this one cut through. There's one flower, and one stem. I like this color combination too, and I think with the Daffodil Delight it works now that I've switched up the designer series paper. Knew there was a way to do this. Okay, let's get that going like that, and then this one like that. Okay, one more cut and then we are good. Okay, so hopefully it's nicer weather where you are. It's pouring. It's been raining like crazy all day today. Hey, Felicia, welcome. No, I'm making a card, but so the challenge, Felicia, was to use Calypso Coral, Soft Succulent, and Daffodil Delight. And so I am using two-tone Flora. And the only thing you missed was me changing up the designer series paper that I am using. So I decided to use the other side. So I'm going to use, this is the Soft Succulent Open Weave ribbon. I just love this ribbon. So, okay, so I'm going to tie this bow. My bow tying skills have kind of suffering a little bit. So I'm going to tie this bow over to the right-hand side. And when I tie a bow, I always turn it upside down because then I can control where the tails go. I was watching curling, Lynette, and gosh, it definitely looks foggy. That was from Camrose. And that's, so yeah, definitely looks foggy where you are. Okay, so there we go. So I tie it upside down, and that way I can control where the tails go. This is a little loose because as I said, struggling a little bit. So I'm going to just use a glue dot. So if you ever have a problem where you've tied a ribbon, oops, let's get it down where I want it to be. Tied a bow, tied ribbon and tied a bow, and it's looser than you want, just use a glue dot either underneath it on the front or you can kind of pull it tightish and use a glue dot. It will hold it in place, and then you can kind of just pull in it's like wearing a belt and cinching it in at the back so nobody sees. Okay, there you go. So I've got the extra kind of here on the back, and nobody's going to see that. And when I have ribbon, I tend to use Stampin' Seal because I can run right over the ribbon and hold the ribbon in place. So I'm just going to do that, and then also here, just kind of over top of that. Oops. Like that. And just want this to be a little bit smaller. And then I can trim my bows or my tails. There we go. Okay. Now let's kind of make a cluster of these. So I'm just going to kind of put that like that. I might have too many flowers here. Maybe not. Maybe I move it up a little bit. So I think I'll do that. I think the yellow goes nicely with this. Okay, so let's use dimensionals. There we go. Oops. All right, and for these, I'm going to use glue dots because I want them flat underneath. Normally, I kind of put glue dots on and tuck them underneath, but these are going to have to definitely go on before I get my flowers on. So I'm just picking up some glue dots. I know some people pick up the glue dots with their finger. I just find that it's much easier to pick up the glue dots just by putting the piece of paper on it. Okay, so there we go. There's one flower. And a second flower. And then we'll kind of put this one down like this. This is just such a pretty bundle. It's really hard to make. And the paper, the rest of the paper, oh my gosh, is just stunning. Okay, so let's cut this out. Figure out where I'm going to put my sentiment now that I've got the flowers in place. Okay, so I'm cutting, as always, I fussy cut sentiments. I don't know why. All right, and always steer with the hand that's holding the paper and not the hand that's got the scissors. It just makes it a whole lot easier. And this one's, because it's nice and big, it's script, it actually looks, I think it looks really nice cut right kind of around it and just leaving a bit of an edge like that. Now, I like to use, when I've got a little piece, I've got a really thin strip. These are the adhesive foam strips, and this works really well. You can also cut off the edge of the mini dimensionals. They have quite a wide kind of strip around them, but I typically will use the foam strips, and they are thicker than dimensionals. I will say that. So if you try to combine these foam strips and the dimensionals, you probably will find that the part of your piece that you're popping up may be at a different height. So I tend to use all all of the adhesive foam strips as opposed to combining it. Now, where shall I put that? Okay, first of all, I'm having a little bit of a moment here because my little flower on the bottom is kind of sticking up and I don't like that. So I'm gonna put another dimensional, I think a mini, underneath it, because I don't like it when they kind of sag at different heights. There we go. All right, so now I'm going back to where to put. Shall we put it there and cover up the flowers? Shall we put it there? Who's got some ideas? Maybe it could go there. All right, there. I think it's too busy down there. So these are going to go up at the top. Maybe there. That just kind of balances it out, I think. Okay, the last thing for the front. These are the iridescent pastel gems, and they are so pretty. They come in 3 colors, kind of a pull party, a calypso coral, and then kind of a white creamy color, pinky color. So I'm going to use the calypso coral and just add some. They come in 2 sizes, just so pretty. There we go. And then the last thing, I have a piece of basic white that I cut. So this is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Now this was the piece that I was going to use, but let's use this side like I did. And so I'm going to just adhere this down and I'll trim it. It's too long, but this was just a piece that I had left over from the designer series paper that I used. And I always try and save the little bits so that I can decorate the inside of my card. Put my silicone mat down so I don't get glue all over my grid paper, because that tends to mean I get glue all over my fingers and I don't like that. Okay, there we go. Trim that off. And then this can adhere on the inside of the card. And then I did get glue on the front. I'll have to figure that out. Okay. Somewhere I have an adhesive remover, so I'm just gonna, there we go. Okay, so I kind of like how that turned out. I wasn't so sure, I guess I said when I started, I wasn't sure about the color combination, but I think it looks quite pretty. And if you haven't looked at this two-tone Flora suite, because it actually comes with the bundle, it comes with designer series paper, it comes with embellishments, and it comes with ribbon. The ribbon is, I think, Pool Party blue color, so that's why I didn't use it tonight. But it's just such a pretty suite, and you can make some really beautiful beautiful cards with it. So, all right, everybody, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that. I will be back. I may not be back live on Saturday. I have a retreat that we're doing. We're finally doing our holiday retreat. It's not the holidays, but we were supposed to do it. Hey, Kathleen. We were supposed to do it in December, but Diane and I both came home from Vienna with COVID, and so therefore we had to delay. And so it's this coming weekend. So I will be back live on Sunday at 12 noon with a card for you. So I hope you'll join me then. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. Happy stamping. Bye.